Hello friends, welcome to Unacademy. This platform provides daily live classes, structured courses, live test quizzes are there, and you get unlimited access on subscription. You can also download the app. Those things are available there also. Now this is about me, and this is my Telegram link. So you can ask me questions, your doubts here. Okay, any doubt you face here, you can just ping me here. I will answer them. So along with me, these are the top educators on the platform, and they take classes on various courses which are available. You can just go and watch them. These are different subscription plans which are available on the platform. If you go with Plus, you have test series, unlimited practice, structured courses, and with Iconic, there are additional benefits of personal coach and others. Now, these are the different subscription plans of different duration. You can choose these very plans according to your requirement, and all these are available at 10% discount. All these are available at 10% discount. Okay, if you apply this very code, that is Amit PS, apply this very code and you will get 10% discount. Here also these are different plans. All these are available at discount. Okay, so use this code to avail 10% discount. These are different optionals which are available on the platform, and I take PSIR, Political Science and International Relations. Okay, just wait a minute. Now we started our discussion on Machiavelli, and in Machiavelli I told you just we started with the time and space of the thinker, and then we saw the influence, okay, those things which actually influenced uh, Machiavelli. So these were the two factors here. The first is Renaissance and the second is the Italy of his time. Okay, so these were the two important factors of influence, okay, on his thinking. Then we saw his methodology. So he employs these methodologies. For example, he is historical. He is going to learn a lot from his history, and then he's going to apply that very learning while he comes out with the advices. So that is the topic here in today's class, in this very video. Then he's empiricist also. He also adopts realist approach. All that has been discussed in previous class. Now these are the fundamental premises of Machiavelli. Okay, so he's going to be morally indifferent. That we will see when we will study his advices. Then principle of universal egoism, autonomy of politics, secularism. We are going to see that in this very video. Okay. Then there are important works. I told you that Prince and his courses. These are the two important works of Machiavelli. And then we will finally conclude with criticism. I also discussed about his space and time. Okay. Then two important factors of influence, that is first Renaissance and then second Italy of his times. Okay. So this was also discussed in the previous video. Now the methodology also I discussed, how he adopts historical methodology, and then how he adopts empirical methodology, and why and how he is realist. Okay, now we are going to see that he was realist and adopted a form and method of political philosophy which ignores scholastic and juristic ideals. This is something that I discussed in the previous class, that now he is not going to philosophize, okay, about ideas. He's also not going to uh, he's also not going to come out with abstract notions of justice or state or anything. Okay, he is going to talk in a very practical sense he is going to advise the ruler, the prince, okay, on the lines that is going to be very useful for the preservation of a state. So he is being very realist, he is being very practical. He is not a philosopher in that sense, okay, in a classical sense. Now we are going to see the fundamental premises of his thought. Okay, the first in that very line is moral indifference. So what is the meaning of moral indifference here? Is he is not interested in moral. Okay, so he shows no regard to morals. Getting it? So indifference means not interested. So he's not interested in morals, or he does not regard any importance to morals. That is what we mean here. Okay. According to him, moral values have no place in political decision. Machiavelli is saying that morality should not guide politics. Okay. This is one of the tenets of Machiavellism, that morality should not be a guiding factor. Okay, should not guide by politics. So what should guide politics? That we will see afterwards, after some time, when you will see that his prime concern is going to be the preservation of his state. Okay, so that is his main concern. And he says that morality, okay, ethics, principles, these are not going to guide the politics. This is not going to be the guiding factor in policy decision making. Okay, all that is not going to be the guiding factor here. Okay, and it is a categorical error of the gravest sort to think otherwise. So he's warning that if you make moral values to be the guiding star here, okay, in the business of politics or in political decision making, then this is going to be a very grave error. This is going to be a very grave mistake. Getting it? Now he adopts the stance of a scientist. Okay, actually he's a kind of scientist. So scientists are not actually guided by morals or ethics. Okay, I'm saying that if a scientist conducts any experiment, okay, a scientific experiment, he is not guided by ethics and morality. Okay, I'm not saying that in that very instance he is immoral or unethical. He just he just does not care about morals or ethics. Okay, in the same way, you will see Machiavelli approaching the discipline of politics. Okay, the field of politics. So when we say that he is morally indifferent, we do not mean that he is immoral or he is unethical. No, this is not the case. He is not immoral or he is not unethical. Okay, what is the case here is that he is amoral. Okay, amoral means what? He does not care about morality. So it is not a question of morality for him. Getting it? When we say that he is morally indifferent, it doesn't mean that there is no morality in Machiavelli or he is necessarily or essentially immoral. That is not the purpose here. What it means is that he gives no regard nor importance to morality. And because of this reason, when he approaches politics, okay, because of this reason, when he approaches politics, he approaches it like a scientist. Okay, so that is why he is called a kind of Galileo of politics. Okay, so Galileo was a scientist. Okay, and he Machiavelli seems to be following or seems to be approaching the politics or the arena of politics, okay, from the point of view of a scientist who is not concerned about ethics and morality. Okay, distinguishing between facts of political life with values of moral judgment. So Machiavelli is very clear when it comes to politics. He is very clear, okay, that the moral values or ethical norms and values, these are not going to be the factors in determining the public policy or political policy, okay, or political decision making. And you will see all those things present when he comes out with the advices to the prince, okay, to the ruler. Then there is principle of universal egoism. Okay, there is also one facet of it which is also called ethical egoism, which essentially means self-interest. Okay, so egoism means self-interest, or egoistic theory are going to promote self-interest. And there is a principle of universal egoism which is present in Machiavelli. Okay, the simple meaning here would be that the kind of advices that is he's coming out with, okay, the theories that he is proposing are going to promote self-interest. Okay, according to universal egoism, everyone should do what is in his own interest. So universal egoism is a definite term. It is used in political philosophy and philosophy. So what is the meaning of universal egoism? Universal egoism means that, or it believes that everyone should do what is according to their interest. Okay, what fulfills their interest. So what I'm trying to say here is this, that in Plato's theory, in Plato's advices to the prince, you will find a tinge of universal egoism. Okay, universal egoism is present in Machiavelli's philosophy and Machiavelli's advices to the prince. Okay, Machiavelli did not believe in essential goodness of human nature. Okay, so he is not the one who believes that human nature is essentially or fundamentally good. He is not of the opinion. He does not say that human nature is essentially or fundamentally good. He held the view that men are selfish. Okay, he held the view that men are selfish, and see, understand here that this is actually one example of universal egoism. So, universal egoism actually says that people follow their self interest. There is something called ethical egoism. So, what is ethical egoism? How this is different from universal egoism? According to ethical egoism, people should follow their self interest. Okay, self interest. In Machiavelli, what we see that more than ethical egoism, it is universal egoism. Machiavelli is of the opinion that people do follow their self interest. Okay, and that is why his political theory is going to take this very fact into account that people are generally bad. Okay, in simple terms, you can say. So he does not believe that human nature is essentially good. Okay, now it is coming from Machiavelli himself. Okay, this very advice and this very assertion that Machiavelli says that this is to be asserted in general of men that they are ungrateful. Okay, ungrateful. Machiavelli is saying that people are generally ungrateful. Ehsan faramosh hote hain. Fickle minded. Okay, they are fickle. Means they are constantly changing their mind. Cowardly. Okay, so cowardice as long as you succeed and they are your entirely. जब तक आप succeed होते रहते हो, when okay, when you are successful, they will be entirely yours. So they will be with you. They will offer you their blood. They will do everything for you. So if you are successful and you are getting success, then people are going to be with you. Okay, now they are going to offer their blood, property, children, and everything. Okay, but when it approaches, okay, जब जरूरत पड़ती थी, then they turn against you. So in the situation of necessity, they will become against you. Okay, they will become against you, or they will start opposing you. And the prince who relies entirely on their promises means prince who actually trust. Okay, or keeps his trust on his promises, acts and neglects other precautions, that is destined to be ruined. Okay, so that is what Prince Machiavelli has to say about human nature, and this is actually coming in form of advice. Okay, now understand. Again, coming from Machiavelli again, one can say that this in general of men, Machiavelli is again making a statement about human nature. They are ungrateful. People are ungrateful, disloyal, insecure, deceitful, timid of danger, and avid of profit. Okay, so these are the opinions that Machiavelli has when it comes to the nature of humans. So this is actually the projection of human nature according to Machiavelli. Getting it? This is the projection of human nature according to Machiavelli. Now, love is a bond of obligation which these miserable creatures break whenever it suits them. Okay? So, love is not something which is going to hold, okay, people together for a long period of time, because human nature is such that men do not take much time to break this bond of love. Okay? Whenever it suits their requirements, it is suitable for them. So, if it is suitable for them, they will break the bond of love also. Okay? But fear holds them fast by a dread of punishment that never passes. So, what he's saying that if you are going to put your trust on love, that love will become the basis or a bond which is going to be helpful for you to garner the support of the people. That is not going to happen because that kind of bond can be broken anytime. Okay, so whenever people will find it useful to break that bond of love, they will just break it. Getting it? But when you are able to scare them, okay, when they will feel fear, that is something which is going to hold them with you. Okay, so when they are in this very when they have this very perception that you are in a position to punish them, then in that very scenario they will be with you, okay, always. So what Machiavelli is trying to say is that if one aims to keep people together, if one aims to command their loyalty, that cannot be done by love or the bond of love. That is possible only when those people have this very sense of fear, because only through that sense of fear they are going to be loyal towards you. Okay, that cannot happen. That is not possible with love. Okay, so what he is trying to do here, he is becoming very realist. Okay, and it also shows his perception about human nature, and that perception that he has actually is the depiction of the bad side of human nature. Okay, which is non-virtuous. Okay, which is ungrateful, which is deceitful. Okay, which is always insecure, fickle. Okay, and which is also suffering from vices like avarice. So greed is also there. Okay, they are people are generally timid of danger, so they are coward also. So these are the perceptions, these are actually the perceptions of human nature that Machiavelli has. Okay, Machiavelli also says that there is no limit to the human desire. Okay, there is no limit to the human desire, and this everlasting conflict of humans to acquire more and more. Okay, so again, he is coming out with the projection of human nature. This is important because his perception of human nature is going to shape his thoughts, okay, his theories, and his political thinking. His political thought is actually shaped by his perception of human nature, as his perception of human nature is very bad. Getting it? So he does not share goodwill when it comes to the human nature. So according to him, have this very unending desire to acquire more and more. Okay, men aim to keep what they already have and desire to acquire more. So he is actually talking about this very side of human nature which makes them greedy, okay, and which make them want more and more. It doesn't matter how much they have. So it is actually the avarice, the vice of avarice, that is greed, which is being pointed out in this very perception of Machiavelli. Getting it? Okay. Now next we see the autonomy of politics. This is very important. Okay. What autonomy of politics? What do you understand by it? What is the meaning of autonomy of politics here? Autonomy of politics means independent is fair, independent sphere of politics. Okay, so there is an independent sphere where politics exists. So what is the meaning of independence here? Independence of whom? Or from whom? So in medieval age and starting from the early medieval age or later ancient times, politics was actually dominated by religion. So in European region, you see that in ancient times or with the emergence of Christianity and especially with the emergence of later ancient and earlier medieval time, you see that church is going to dominate the politics. Okay, so they are not the sovereign states when it comes to religion. Actually, in those spheres where it should be actually the arena of politics, you will see church dominating the non-religious spheres of state also. So in that sense, politics does not enjoy or did not have any independent arena. Okay, or it was or it always remained the vassalage of religion. What is the meaning of vassalage of religion? Is that it always remained subservient to religion, below religion, beneath religion. Okay, that is what he means when he says that. When that is what Dunning means when he says that Machiavelli brings the politics out of the vassalage of religion. Okay, so how he is establishing the autonomy of the politics, the independent nature of politics, that is something that we are going to see here. Okay, so his advocacy for using immoral means earns him the evil reputation. Okay, so Machiavelli does not have very good reputation. So, for example, if one is Machiavellian or one follows Machiavelli, it will be understood that he is not going to give any regard to morality or ethics. One who is Machiavellian will not hesitate to adopt evil character in order to fulfill his or her interest. So, this is what the term Machiavellianism has come to mean. It is only because of the suggestions that Machiavelli has offered in his book, The Prince. Okay, getting it? Now, Leo Strauss. So, this is a scholar who is from philosophical school or political theory. He is he calls him the teacher of evil. Okay, so Leo Strauss called him the teacher of evil. Okay, there are various adjectives attached to Machiavelli. You will see within a few minutes. But in this very attempt of being indifferent to moral principles, he establishes the autonomy of politics by separating it from ethics. Okay, so when he is being immoral to means or immoral, or he's actually being amoral, or he's not giving any regard to ethical principles, what he's doing, he is separating the ethics from the politics. Okay, now understand this very premise. What is the meaning here? Separating ethics from the politics. The meaning here is this, that you have seen in case of Aristotle that for Aristotle the end of politics and ethics is same. Okay, that is the attainment of good life. So this was the case with Aristotle. Getting it? So when Aristotle talks about ethics, the meaning he accords to ethics is not different that when you see the purpose of politics in his case. Getting it? But in ancient times, after the Greek civilization, and especially in the early medieval times, you see the emergence of politics or political thinking where a great deal of religiosity was involved. And there, the ethics or the ethical principles were being informed by religion. Okay, so before and during the times of Machiavelli, you will find the ethics or religious ethics or the religious principles are becoming the foundation of politics and political thinking. Okay, so right from the starting, ethics has actually been attached with the politics. Okay, so there has been a kind of attachment of ethics with the politics in most ancient times. Okay, during the period of antiquity, that is the Greek civilization, that ethics was not informed by religion, but later it came to be identified with religion alone. And in that sense, politics got mixed with religion. Not only that, a time came when politics actually was dominated by religion. Now, in that very era, the principles of ethics were also informed by religion alone. Okay, so when politics in the early medieval period and also almost during the whole medieval period, when it was being directed, it was being guided by the ethical principles, then those ethical principles found their basis in religion. In that sense, politics was being guided by religion. Okay, when Machiavelli adopts or advocates for the adoption of immoral means or even immoral means, okay, and when he says that morality and ethics has got nothing to do when it comes to the political decision making, what he is saying or what he is trying to do and what the implication of this very advice will be, that he is separating the politics from ethics, and in that sense he is also separating the politics from religion, because in that very era the very foundation of ethics was the religious teaching. Okay, now in Western Europe at this very moment you will find that ethical principles or the morality or the moral principles in Europe have become secular. But this very emergence of secular ethics in Europe is a very new phenomenon. Okay, so that is something that one can witness only after Renaissance and Reformation. But before that time, the ethical principles, morality, okay, all those things were actually guided, dictated by religion. Okay, they were informed by religion only. And when there was a connection between ethics and politics, then that connection was actually a kind of relationship between religion and politics where religion was dominating over politics. Machiavelli's emphasis over immoral means or emphasis over the adoption of immoral means if need arises is implying that politics is something which should not be seen with the lens of morality or ethics. And in that very attempt, actually, the final implication would be the emergence of politics, which is free from ethics, morality, and that is why free from religion. And this is what we call the emergence of the autonomous nature of politics. I think now you understand it. Okay, let's move further. Idea of secularism. Okay, so in Machiavellian writing, we also see the emergence of secularism. So, what is the meaning of secularism here? Okay, we are going to see that in detail in other sections, but just in order to understand our debate here, our discussion here, we have to understand secularism in its Western conception. Okay, so there is an Indian version of secularism, and then there is Western version of secularism. But secularism as an idea originally belongs to the Western world, so it is a Western concept. Okay, understand what is secularism. Okay, life, public life, personal life, okay, life in general can be divided, or human conduct can be divided into two spheres. First is religious sphere, and second is non-religious sphere. Okay, the sphere which is non-religious, that is sphere is called secular sphere. So in Western concept, I'm just giving you the simplest meaning in order to make our discussion meaningful. That secularism in Western context means simply means the absence of religion. Absence of religion. Okay. So as a Western idea, it would mean absence of religion. So when we use the word secular sphere, what does it mean, or what would it mean? It means it means that sphere which is not religious, sphere which is which is not religious. Okay. Now I will again remind you about the time period that we are talking about. So this is the time period where every sphere of human life was dominated by religion. Okay. So be it politics, economics, okay, civil society, the life in public life or private life, all that is being dominated by religion. How do we say? Why do we say that? Because it is the religious tenets, the teachings of religion, the authority of the church, okay, authority of the religious leader, all that is going to decide the conduct of individuals in their public life as well as private life. Okay, in the life of state, okay, in public policy decision making, everything that is there or that has any connection with the life of individual is being dictated by religion. Okay, religious teaching, okay, and religious ethics or religious morals. And now, when Machiavelli is coming out with such advices that religion, ethics, morality is not going to inform, it is not going to guide the political decision making, then what he's saying? He is advocating for the absence of religion in political decision making in the arena of politics. We just saw about the emergence of the autonomy of politics, or the independent existence of politics. Independence from whom? Independence from the clutches of religion. So there it became clear that the kind of politics for which Machiavelli advocates is the politics which is not being guided, dictated, or informed by religion. So there would emerge a space, a room, where religion is not going to cast its shadow on it. That would mean that religion would be absent there. And we just saw that secular sphere is one where religion is absent. Okay, so this way you see the emergence of secularism in his writing. Okay, now understand here. According to him, observance of the ordinances of religion is the cause of greatness of the commonwealth. Now it might confuse you that what Machiavelli here is saying, that if you observe, or if ruler class, especially those who rules, if the public policy decision makers, if all those things are actually guided by the ordinance of religion, it is going to become a cause of the greatness of the commonwealth. And if you are going to negate them or neglect them, that could become a cause for their destruction. In this sense, he seems to be supporting the religion idea of religion, or he seems to be supporting as if he seems to be supporting the proposition that religion should guide politics. But that is not what he means here. What he means is that politics at a time when religion is actually playing a great deal of role in public as well as private life, then in that very situation it would not be prudent for the rulers to vehemently, outrightly reject religion. Okay, because if this is done, then they will lose, or there is a fear that they will lose the legitimacy of ruling. Okay, so when Machiavelli is coming out with the autonomy of the state or the autonomy of the politics, when he is advocating about secularism, he is not suggesting for outright rejection of religious tenets, or he is not suggesting for outright struggle or outright conflict with religion. No, he is not suggesting for that. He is too realist to talk such idiotic things. Why it is going to be idiotic on part of rulers to take on religious authorities? Because still in that very time, religion is actually dominating the life of the individuals. Now, if any state, any set of rulers are going to oppose the ordinances of religion, okay, directly, then they are going to pay the cost for it. Okay, this is very easy to understand that you must have seen political leaders, especially those leaders who are in the important positions. They are not ready to take on against religion. Okay, whatsoever be the case. So, for example, there can be leaders who are very communal or making very hate speeches which might disturb the harmony of the state. But even then, leaders sitting in the important positions are not going to uh, actually vehemently deny them, or they will not be ready to take on them directly if those things get attached to religion. Okay, so the kind of situation that we have is still, especially in South Asian region, is to be found in a very clear and very exposed way in the Western Europe during this medieval era. So he is not suggesting for taking on religion or having any direct conflict with religion or outright rejection of religion. No, he's not suggesting for that. What he's suggesting is clear here when he says that religion should not be the foundation of political behavior. Okay, he is not saying that religious ordinances should not be followed. Actually, he is saying that religious ordinances should be followed. And if they will be followed, they will become the cause of the greatness of the Commonwealth. Okay, because you should keep in mind that this is the time when religion is still ruling the roost. Okay, it still dominates the various spheres of individuals' life. Getting it? That is why Machiavelli is prudent enough, he is practical and realist enough to not to suggest a take on or a conflict, a direct rejection, an outright rejection of religious tenets and religious ordinances. What he is actually trying to say that religion should not be the guiding factor of political behavior and political decision making. It should not be the premise on which politics should actually take place. Okay, it should not be the factor which informs the process, the course of politics. So that is what he means when he says that one needs to be amoral or irreligious. Okay, political decision making should not be guided by religion. Religious principles and ideals should not guide the policies of Commonwealth and the conduct of prince. Okay, religious principles and ideals should not guide the policies of Commonwealth and conduct of the prince. Getting it? So these are the same advices. I just discussed about this very thing, that he is of the opinion that religion should not guide politics. Now see the next thing, that in this way he admits the utility of the religion at the same time. How is admitting the utility of the religion? While suggesting for the while suggesting to go with the ordinances of religion. Okay, he does not consider religion to be the driving force for politics. Okay, he does not give that kind of importance to politics, to religion. Okay, he just says that it would not be correct to make religion as a guiding stick for the decision making in the arena of politics. That is what he is saying. Thus, he presents a secular sphere of politics independent from religion. Okay, so for this reason, we say that there is a secular sphere of politics. Secular sphere of politics means there is a sphere of politics which is independent of religion. Okay, there is a sphere of politics which is independent of religion, because I just explained you that by secular sphere we mean independent sphere. Independent sphere. Independent means independent from religion. Are you able to get it? Is there any question here? Okay. Now we are coming to the most important part in Machiavelli, that is the advices that he is offering to Prince. Okay. And in these advices, you will see the actual thought, his actual thinking. Okay. Now, starting with the first advice here, he suggests, Machiavelli says that how we live is far removed from how we ought to live. Okay. See the typical realism that is present in Machiavelli. How we live is removed from how we ought to live. Okay. So, how we ought to live, that is a different debate. But that has no significance because it is essentially different from the reality, that is how we actually live. Those who abandon what is for what should be. So there are two things. What is, that is a present condition. Okay. And the second proposition is what should be. What should be means what should actually be the case. So Machiavelli is saying that those who abandon what is, that those who abandon the reality, those who abandon the reality for the sake of norms. Okay, so it is actually the function of norms and values. They are the things which actually tell you what should be. Okay, so Machiavelli is suggesting that those who abandon what is, those who abandon the present real condition for some imaginary condition which is guided by norms and values, okay, they will destroy themselves as well as their state. So this kind of thinking, this kind of belief will become the reason for their destruction. Okay, this is what Machiavelli is saying. Next, man, next again is the advice, okay, to the ruler. Again, understand the context here. These advices should be seen as coming from someone who has studied history, who has studied polity, okay, who has thought a lot about the problems that ancient and early medieval time has faced, who is not sharing a very good perception about human nature, and all these opinions, all these perceptions that Machiavelli has been shaped by the circumstances of his times. Okay, and now this is to be seen with this very fact that he is actually a patriotic. Okay, so Machiavelli is also one of the greatest patriotic thinkers that we have. So, along with this situation that he faces, he also has a love for his country. He also wants to see Italy, okay, in a glorious position, as was the case in the ancient time. So, in a way, he actually is trying to reinstall that lost glory of Roman Empire and reestablish it in Italy. Okay, now these advices are the for the rulers who are going to, according to Machiavelli, who are going to make it possible or who are venturing into the arena where this particular project is to be completed. That is the unification of Italy and its preservation. Okay, so these advices should be seen with this very background. Next, he says that man who wishes to make profession of goodness in everything must necessarily come to grief as he lives with so many who are not so great. Okay, so again, he's saying that one should avoid, especially those who rule, should avoid making the profession of goodness. That means what? He is suggesting that one should not care about goodness and all. Okay, if one gives too much importance to the goodness, then he should remember that he is dealing with the people or he is dealing with the kind of people who are not that very good. Getting it? So if you are dealing with the people who are not themselves very good and you are emphasizing on goodness and principles and all that, then what will happen? Then it is not going to work out. Yes or no? This is not going to work out, and that very person may actually be facing a lot of troubles because he is making a profession of goodness with some people who are not that very good. Next, through this very advice, Machiavelli suggests Prince to be a realist. So, who are the realists? For them, the real experience of life is actually the guiding factor. Prince should combine in himself rational and brutal characteristics. Okay, so Prince should actually combine rational and brutal characteristics. Okay, it should be brave. He should be brave like a lion and clever like a fox. So, a ruler should be both rational as well as brutal. He should be he should be like a lion as well as a fox. Lion signifies the bravery here, the courage, and fox symbolizes cleverness. So what he is saying that a ruler should be both clever as well as courageous. Okay, I hope you understand everything here. You can ask me question if you have any. Okay, cunningness and subtlety are more useful than integrity. See again, one important advice guided by his realism, where he believes that it is the cunningness and subtlety which is going to be more important, more useful than integrity. Okay, this again is a very good example of Machiavellianism. Okay, now next, a prince should be cold-blooded man. Okay, a prince should be cold-blooded man. I'm sorry, prince should be cold-blooded man. He should be an opportunist and should oppose evil by evil. He should be an opportunist means he should be ready to take advantage of the situations. And cold-blooded would mean these particular set of qualities also. Means he should adopt very calculative approach. Okay, a prince should adopt very calculative approach. He should be prudent. Okay, wise. He should not be of fickle-minded nature. Okay, not driven by motives or passion. Okay, this is a different thing. Cold-blooded here would mean that one who is going to adopt a very calculated approach is very cool and calm, but at the same time, he is not nice. Okay, Machiavellian prince is not a nice guy. Okay, now prince must keep the interest of the state above all other considerations. So Machiavelli is suggesting that the foremost concern of the prince here should be the preservation of state, and that is again nothing but similar to national interest. the very word that we use in present context. Okay, next. In the interest of the state, he should be prepared to commit sin unhesitatingly. Again, realism. Okay, realism. Then, indifference to moral or disregard to morals. Then what? Amoral character. Then, irreligious character. All these things are present in Machiavelli's thinking. Okay, because he is suggesting here, because he is suggesting here that for the interest of the state, or in order to attain the interest of the state, one should not one should not worry about, one should not actually be scared of, or one should not hesitate to commit sin. Okay, he must be of unshakable purpose and dead to every sentiment except love for his state. That is why I'm saying that he is also one of the greatest patriotic thinker, okay, in whole Western philosophical tradition that we have. So he must be of, he means who? The ruler of the state here must be of unshakable purpose and dead to every sentiment except for the love of his state. We must be saved even at the cost of his soul. Okay, so he's saying that state must be shaped even at the cost of his soul. So this is the kind of love that Prince is advised to have for state. Okay, that is why we say that he is a patriotic thinker. Then he further says that he must not concern himself with the justice or injustice, good or bad, mercy or cruelty, honor or dishonor. So these are the things which should not be a concern for the prince. Okay, whether it is justice or injustice, good or bad, mercy or cruelty, honor or dishonor, all that is not relevant. Okay, for Machiavelli, preservation of state was most important purpose. So what is the ultimate purpose of Machiavelli here is to ensure the preservation of state. He advises the prince to regard neighbors as natural enemies. Again, recall, I told you that one can understand about the thoughts, thinking of the philosopher if one takes into account his time period. Okay, the time period, the era he belongs. So, Machiavelli is belonging to an era whereby Italy of his times is facing problems from both within and outside. Now, what is happening here in Italy is that the very preservation of state has been it is questionable, because although it has lost glory of the Roman Empire, but that is something which is understandable. But at this very moment, during the time of Machiavelli, in various city states of Italy, you find these city states, small city states, having conflict or quarreling with each other to have control over France or over Italy. Now there are other outside powers also which are making the similar attempt. For example, we saw France, Spain, and other kind of and some other outside powers. Okay, a prince should be ready to attack the enemy even before the enemy is ready. Okay, and according to him, either a state must expand or perish. So he is coming out, or he is favoring the expansionist policy of the state. Not only that, he considered it he's considered it so important that he suggests that if a state does not expand its territory, it is destined to perish. Okay, it is destined to get ruined. So this was about the class, about the advices of the Machiavelli to the ruler. ruler. In the next class, I will be live again, and I will be the other. I will be discussing the other advices that Machiavelli has offered to the prince. Thank you. Now, if you have liked the video, if you found this video useful, then and then you can subscribe to any plan and come out with this very 10% discount code. So you apply this very code and you get 10% discount. Thank you.